And we should be live.
We're live. Look at us
I
go.
did the thing.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to Entropy Emporium tonight. We are so excited that you're here. Tonight is going to be the premiere episode of Blooming in the Rocks, an Invisible Sun campaign. I will be GMing tonight. Before I get started on that, I'm going to hand it over to JT to do intros for the channel. We'll talk about intros for our characters and ourselves, and then we'll get to it. So, JT, if you want to take it over.
I would. Welcome, everybody. This is Entropy Emporium. This is I guess I can't say new anymore because we're 7 months into the year. We launched in January, so we're new-ish. Um, we are a queer, hopefully inclusive group of people telling so many stories, as many as we can cram into the year. And we are raising money for a charity. We have a Discord. I'll get to that in a minute. We're raising money for the PCRF. I'm pasting two links in our Twitch chat here. Um, the PCRF charity thing is an ongoing thing. I am working on getting incentives set up for some extra bonus streams that will be coming up in about 3 weeks now. Um, if you donate to that, then some fun stuff will happen while we're streaming a few different games. But we also, if you would like to have a Discord, hold on, ban, good. If you would also like to hang out with like-minded nerdy people, we have a Discord where we're very active and very feral about all the fun stuff we're doing. And I usually pluck a few hapless, unwitting cast members to play video games with sometimes. So you could stop by for that. We have fun here. Anyway, PCRF donation incentives coming soon, but that is going to be almost certainly ongoing for as long as we are in the situation we're in. This is the best way we have to help. Uh, Other than that, I don't think we have any other hugely pressing announcements, so I will toss it over to our debut GM.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to invite my cast to go around and introduce yourselves. And if you would be so kind as to let us know your name, your pronoun, your character's name, your character's pronoun, and then the sentence associated with them. So the heart, uh, foundation, order, and forte, I think are all the things covered in those. So it'll be at the top of your character sheet. So I will pass it over to Knox first to introduce.
Hi everyone, I'm Nox, and I already forgot what I'm supposed to say. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and today I will be playing Bellamy, who also uses she, her, hers pronouns, and she is a bizarre stoic apostate who eats knowledge.
Thank you kindly. I'll hand it over to JT.
Long time no see. I'm JT. My pronouns are they, them. And tonight I am playing Stellan Faust. Also they, them. They are a broker, um, a connected stoic of the Order of the Weavers who strikes deals.
Wonderful. And over to Ava.
Hello, my darlings and dears. It's your Madam Ava here. My pronouns are she, her, and I play Isra Namat, who also uses she, her pronouns. She is an Emmerich empath of the Order of Goethe, who plumbs the depths of sleep.
And of course, over to JD.
Hey, I am JD. My pronouns are he, they, and in this game I am playing Alistair, who just goes by Alistair, they, them pronouns, and they are an itinerant empath apostate who hosts a legion.
Casual and fun. I already love these characters so much. I'm so excited for everybody else to get to meet them. My name is Kian. As I said at the top, my pronouns are they, he, and I will be the storyteller for this game. Um, just at the top, just to give a little bit of a disclaimer, this game is going to be Rule of Cool style. So if you are a tried and true fan of Invisible Sun rules and you stick to them all the time, please don't be too upset with me. I am a Rule of Cool GM, and I believe that the system caters really well to it. Um, Other than that, if there are no questions, comments, concerns, or confessions from my cast about me specifically, I know everyone is concerned about Stellan. I think we're all on the same page that we have concerns about Stellan. But
That can't be right.
of course not. Of course not. I am going to get us started with a quick introduction. An entity made in the shape of a human body walks in an empty landscape. There is no skin or muscle to him, just the veins of a human, bright red as the exposed heart pumps exposed blood through exposed veins. His head is the only thing more, but barely. A skull stained red, watching his body as it takes one step, then another, hearing, if such a thing is possible, the wet sounds of exposed arteries stepping on the dry earth. The veins of his left hand are wrapped around the hilt of a broadsword, the veins of his right around a cracked shield. They, like the body, should we call it that, have seen better days. Although he drags the sword, there is no path left in the dirt. No footprints indicate his passage. The living don't leave evidence of their existence here, and the bleeding heart is living, though you might not believe it. He is not yet a corpse. Not yet a corpse, yet still, he rots. Welcome everyone to Blooming in the Rot and Invisible Sun AP. To my players, your self-exile into shadow is over. You've all returned to actuality, a world where the surreal is normal and the mundane can be terrifying. Your homes are not as you left them, but just as they were. It doesn't make sense, but it does. The way a place you've never been is familiar because it's an echo of everywhere you've ever walked. It's home, isn't it? As you pick up the pieces of your lives, something unseen is watching and waiting, making its presence known with the crack of not dead bodies on the sidewalk. Following the thread of a mysterious not dead man has led you to Zero, the most popular bar in Fartown. Or it will lead you later there tonight. But before we get there, I'd like us to spend a little bit of time with Alistair. We find this is just after all of, I've already forgotten the most important thing about Invisible Sun. At the center of the screen, players and audience, you will see something that says Invisible Sun Soothe Deck. The way that Invisible Sun works is we have generally a card that is drawn each scene, sometimes for a GM shift, and that card kind of dictates the tone of the scene and whatnot. The artwork is very, very cool, so I have set it up so that everybody is going to be able to see the artwork. So the first card that we have is the Crowded Tomb. Value 1, Secrets, Ravens, Books, and Flame. Meanings, endings, despair, completion. The tomb lies at the end of all stories, the reward for the greatest monarch and the lowliest beggar. Of course the tomb is crowded. It grows more crowded each day. Mourners crowd around the tomb, but it is even more crowded within. So many deaths, so many endings. Crowded Tomb is the location card of the Secrets family, and thus represents a permanence or is related to a physical place. This means that the finality that it represents probably occurs in a specific and significant location. With this card, pale magic is enhanced, green magic is diminished, and gallants gain a +1 to all ventures for this scene. So now, let's head over to Alistair. Alistair, you are walking. Where are you headed after discovering this not dead body and trying to help them, but maybe it not going well and running into Stellan and going to talk to Isra? You've had a lot go on in the last, we'll say, hour or two. So where is Alistair headed?
It's been a weird day. And that says something, given where we find ourselves in general here. I think at first they're just walking, not any specific destination in mind, just a chance to clear their head, maybe be away from people for a bit. But I think they find themselves kind of automatically starting to follow the path towards Bellamy's house. Especially since that is probably where they are currently staying.
You, Alistair, you don't quite have a home. You kind of make everywhere that you walk your home. And it sometimes, I imagine, feels a little unnerving and a little unsettling. But you're never truly alone, ever. Alistair hosts a legion. You hear, as you're walking toward Bellamy's, one voice coming up that just says, do we have to go back over there? I know that's where we're sleeping right now, but we've been there for 2 nights. We need a change of pace. Starts rattling off all of these wants. And another voice kind of just tries to, no, let's will you this direction, tries to make you take a right turn. These are not voices in your head. These are actual demons that exist for some reason within your body. How does Alistair feel about the Legion?
Alistair's feelings are complicated because there are moments where the Legion is helpful, where they let them know that something is important to pay attention to, or have steered them away from what probably would have ended up being a dangerous situation. But then there are also times like this where the Legion is trying to direct their actions, their movement, the choices that they make. And they often feel pretty outnumbered in making those decisions because they are Alistair and the Legion is many.
You feel this demon sort of urging you more and more to not head to Bellamy's. Do you cater to that? Do you falter? Do you just push on because you're used to this at this point? You know eventually they will give up.
Alistair would push on with their intended plan, but they would just ask, why don't you want me to see her? Are you jealous that I might be making a friend?
You hear a very deep chuckle, and it is an unsettling voice as Extar comes to the front. Extar is often your spokesperson, typically has something to say about every single decision you make. And Extar, laughing, says, making a friend? Is that what you would call Bellamy? Is that what you would call any of the people that you know? A friend?
Well, no, not every person that we know. But Bellamy, maybe.
Well, you should consider picking up a dictionary for somebody who's a V-Slay and is supposed to be so well read and well educated. And another voice jumps in and says, shh, Extar, please. Let Alistair do as they wish. I'm sure that there's something that they are intended to do. That this is, they're not taking us to Bellamy's just because. They've got a plan. Let's sit and watch and wait. And you know this to be the voice of Duasis, who is a little calmer, tends to be more level-headed, seems to be the only one who can rein in the others when they really start to get unruly and out of control. Roll me the first roll of the evening. I want to call it perception, and I don't remember if that's what it is in this game, and I should know it. There's a perception roll.
is a roll.
Let's go ahead and roll me a perception. We're gonna call this a challenge 7.
And it is 1d10 plus my base.
Just 1d10. So with your base, those are your bene, so you can spend 1 from your pool to lower this from a 7 to a 6.
No, let's just let it ride.
Fair enough.
That is a 5.
I will say that with a 5, you get that there is something. Duasis is curious, and not just in the way of, let's just let Alistair do what they like. Let's just see what happens. Something else has caught their interest, but you're not able to read more than that. Do you question anything? Do you try to interact with Duasis when they make this comment?
Alistair would just ask, what do you think of Bellamy?
I think that Bellamy is good for us. in a way that not everyone is. And you know, Alistair, that good for us sometimes means useful for us. So there is a little bit of that sort of rock sinking in your stomach. Anybody who catches the eye of Duasis, you know they have plans. And kind of sensing that dread. But don't worry. I don't have any plans for Bellamy as of now. I think that she has some interesting goals of her own. And I'll be curious to see where those are headed. And appreciative if you would join her for that ride. I would like a front row seat as this progresses.
You're not planning to hurt her or anything like that, right?
Alistair, have I ever hurt anybody? And a very eager voice. If you are a fan of corporate cartoon and you are familiar with The Lion King, if you're thinking of the hyenas, this is Ed, who jumps up just hyper and excited. And no, hurting is my job. And Latrice is so excited and so eager as soon as the idea of hurting somebody comes up. That's my job. I can take care of that. If we need to do something with Bellamy, I can absolutely be the one to handle that. And you can tell that Latrice is just amping himself up because the opportunity to cause damage has presented itself.
Alistair regrets their choices immediately to ask that question and tries to step back and just let the Legion argue amongst themselves.
And they do, because Latrice, while the most excitable, is not, you get the sense is not very high ranking of a demon. What you know as a V-Slay is that demons from the red, under the red sun, there is a hierarchy to them. And sometimes they can form into these sort of army forces against each other. And so in theory, Latrice would kind of be one of those lower class ones. So he's kind of the one that's barking really loudly and nobody is really paying attention. X-Star seems a little bit upset, but is okay to keep that to themselves because Duasis is quiet, is not going to pursue. Sinks into the background. There's this cold sensation that you get when one of them kind of steps back. You can feel the cold of them leaving before your natural warmth starts to come back into place. Over the last couple of months, as you've become more familiar with the Legion, you kind of realize that there's some kind of feeding off of that warmth of you that they have to do. So bringing that warmth back takes a little bit more energy, but you're able to get there. There's a little bit of bickering, there's a little bit of going back and forth, but for now, it seems that you are permitted, encouraged, allowed, you get to choose the word, to continue on to Bellamy's. Is there anywhere in particular that you stop along the way, or are you kind of zeroed in, I need to get here to what is my home at this time?
For now, they would be going directly to Bellamy's, mostly because so far their paths have not led them anywhere good today for the most part, and they would like to not increase the chances of trying to save another person, running into Stellan, having some weird experiences at Isra's house. Like, they would like to just make it to Bellamy's without any further disruptions happening.
Fair enough. I take offense to the fact that walking down the sidewalk and having a body drop out of the sky in front of you was not a good experience, but I can understand and excuse that for now. Speaking of our other companions, before we get to Bellamy's, I would like to jump over to Isra. Isra, you had all of these guests over who came in kind of talking about, well, there was this body that was found, and you had this strange vision or something of a hand that seemed to be crawling out of the cards, something to do with the mirror, kind of traversing around your home. Things feel a little bit off, and your guests have now left. Stellan and Alistair have moved along. What are you doing right now as the invitation to Zeros still lays on your table where once it had been I believe it was a 6 of swords that Isra had drawn?
I think right now Isra it wants to do two things. Check on her tarot deck to see what type of damage it's had. Has the blankness spread throughout all the cards or just specific amounts? And then also do like a ceiling to floor, like rundown check of the house, like inside and outside to make sure that the house seems to be okay despite the uninvited guest and the weirdness that happened.
Um, let's start with your deck. Um, you don't even need to roll for it. Everything is back to normal. There's even a 6 of swords, which you had seen turn into this invitation to Zeros, but now you find the 6 of swords back in the deck where it belongs. You don't sense anything strange, any sort of, I guess, other magic. Everything that you're feeling feels like the magic that you're used to, even from a tarot deck, which is very inherently shadow, inherently from our world, but you have brought in from shadow as your memento. So something that is not typically imbued with Beastly magic. The deck does feel hesitant, which is a new feeling. Um, it doesn't quite want to be interacted with. You get the sense it will because it trusts you, but it's almost as though it's afraid of something.
That is odd. Would you like to be laid out under a moon tonight? I can see if the moon is available.
The deck doesn't answer, but the window that the house typically has the moon facing sort of creaks open.
We'll have you laid out. We'll make sure all the crystals are in place. I'll even go buy crystals to get some extra crystals just in case. We'll have everything laid out for you. So I'll do that real quick. And she like prepares to like put it in its box and puts it out by the window. But knowing that everything's not completed yet, she is not going to like arrange it properly. Um, but she'll make sure to stop by crystals before heading to Zeros to get the last of the agreed items.
Um, you also said you wanted to check in on the house.
Yes.
Roll me a interaction roll. And we'll say that this is only going to be a challenge level 3, because you know the house well. The house knows you.
Oh, there it is. Nope, that's an 8. This one, okay. Um, so I got a 5. My interaction has a 4. I don't know.
So you don't
if I
add
could
anything.
add
It's
it.
just the straight
Okay,
roll on the dice. Yeah. So you're
got it.
good.
Okay.
With a 5, the house feels a little wary, and you're not sure
Hmm.
if this is because there were so many strangers in today, people that came in with a very interesting energy, having had a very interesting day, or if this is because of what you kind of experienced with the hand kind of being around, the strangeness in the cards, something bigger than what you're typically used to. Um, there is a little bit of shifting because remind us, what does your house look like right now?
It's a chicken hut, like Baba Yaga's house.
It is a Baba Yaga house, which is fucking phenomenal. Um, the house kind of shifts a little bit, the legs kind of dancing one side to another, and the table where the Zero's invitation is on kind of slides to one side and the invitation falls to the ground. The house is never subtle. If it puts something on the ground, it doesn't really want anything to do with it. You would guess, it's probably not pleased about this invitation to Zeros. Um, but again, it's been a weird day, and this invitation came to you in a weird way. So,
Do you want me to put it into compost? I can put it into compost, or do you just not want it here at all?
um, where do you keep your compost?
We'll keep the compost because I know the house can be kind of hit or miss with it. It's still a part of the property, but it's like at the very edge of like the backyard.
Okay. Um, the house pitches hard enough toward that you kind of have to catch yourself. Very
Oh,
eager. Yes. Throw it in
oh,
the
okay.
compost.
Okay. Making sure. Did you want me to get anything while I'm out? I'm going to Crystals later, and then obviously going to the place that you don't like. But I can get something for you. I'll be back.
I don't think the house wants anything right now. I think the only want that you sense from it is that it wants you to come home safe. Things are a little strange. It wants to make sure that you make it back to bed tonight.
Of course. I always come back. And if something happens, the newsie will say something.
Almost as if on cue, you hear the newsie yelling about some sort of a weird grape juice that's flowing downhill, but
Ooh.
it's flowing downhill in the wrong direction. Seems to be going downhill,
Ah.
but it going upwards. Doesn't make any sense. Telling you to avoid that section of the street. It seems to fizz at random times and starting to eat through some shoes. So it's going to take a second to get that sorted and taken care of.
Hmm. Okay, avoid that section of the street. Got it. So I think after those are done, she'll start getting ready for zeros, making sure to dump the invitation into compost, and she'll start making her way.
Um, this is so I paused on Alistair giving a description for a specific reason, because I would love to hear if you pull out any clothes when you're at Bellamy's. But since we are in Isra's home, Ava, if you want to give us a description of Isra, and I would love to hear what you are planning to wear to Zeros tonight.
Isra is a dark-skinned woman with silvery white hair that tends to be pulled back with a veil over her head. Her eyes are like a brilliant sapphire, almost to a tinge of purple blue, and she has a third eye that tends to keep closed unless she's doing her rituals. She likes to keep her purples, but because of the invitation, I believe it's like a greenish gold. She's going to try to find something in her wardrobe that leans to that like envious color and that vibe. So I think she may have a pantsuit, like a jumpsuit type of vibe that's open in the back. Um, and she will forego the veil for the evening for some very, very loud and gaudy jewelry.
I absolutely love it. We love a strong pantsuit. Um, let's jump back over. Alistair, you are getting pretty close to Bellamy's. You arrive. Bellamy, would you mind giving us a description of your house?
Sure. I'm gonna say Bellamy's house looks. Can you not? Trying to talk. Sorry, my cat. Bellamy's house looks very. I feel like she goes for very like cottagecore vibes. So it's very like cozy looking. It looks a lot smaller on the outside than it is on the inside, of course. Um, just very quaint and peaceful and reassuring. And it's just a very nice place. Lots of flowers around it, like a nice
Um,
little garden out front.
does Bellamy have a cat?
Yes.
I have to know. Is the cat very similar to yours?
Yes, we'll just give her the
Perfect.
same name. The cat's name is Hazel,
Wonderful.
and is climbing over things. And you probably hear like a vase break, and you can hear Bellamy just sigh from inside.
Alistair, you approach. You've been staying here for a couple of days. You know that Hazel is a little bit rambunctious and curious sometimes. Um, are you at the point where you just walk in and open the door? Or do you still knock at the front door?
Oh, Alistair absolutely still knocks. This is not their home. They're not just gonna walk inside.
I kind of figured. Alistair, you knock. Bellamy, you hear knocking at the door. And I will, yeah. Do you go answer it?
I'm gonna say Bellamy's not what answers the door. I'm gonna say her cane is.
Wonderful. Can you describe this cane for us?
Sure. So it looks like a standard like walking cane that you'd get from CVS.
Mhm.
Because no reason do I know about that. And but it has a vine wrapped around it that looks kind of as if it was made out of yarn. But you can see the vine split and grow, and it walks with the vines. And a vine just gets up, wraps around the door, opens it, and then just kind of makes like a come in here motion.
Alistair, you're greeted by this humanoid cane with vines for arms. Um, Gestures you in. There's a slight tilt as though nodding its head to you. Starts heading off, I imagine, back into the kitchen, trying to make some tea, clean up whatever Hazel just knocked over. I'm like probably was the teacup that it had set out, was getting ready for you. Um, but you are inside the home.
Alistair would announce their presence and just kind of awkwardly be like, "Hey, Bellamy, I'm back. We're
Hey.
back."
You can come in. Nobody else visits. Yeah, you could just walk in. I'm in the library. Sorry, Hazel dropped a vase and a teacup and probably other stuff. But you can come on up.
And they will, while they're heading in your direction, just say, I mean, it seems rude to just walk inside. Even with your permission, it seems rude to walk in like we own the place.
No, I get it. Y'all are good. You want tea? I can ask Candace to. I didn't think of a name for the cane until right now.
Incredible.
I can ask Candace to make y'all some.
Tea would be really nice. It's been a weird day. Has it been a weird day for you too?
Eventually she comes out and she just pokes her head through. She goes, What date is it?
That's a really good question. How much time have you lost?
So I was reading a book, and then I was reading another book, and then I guess you like come inside. You can see she has like essentially what's a murder board, but but like tracking her research. And she's like, and then I found this, and I was looking at this, and I was looking at this, and Hazel stopped, and I was looking at this, and she's like trying to like connect the dots. And she goes, according to the amount of cups surrounding me, it could have been a day or two.
You sleep even less than we do, I think.
Sleep. I mean, I close my eyes. There was a blanket on me at one point.
I'm and you see, like, every time Alistair says I instead of we, they just kind of stop and stutter for a moment and then get back on track and more solidly say, we put that there.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. Okay, yeah. So, whenever you did that, that's the last time I remember unconsciousness.
That was 3 days ago.
Then it's been 3 days.
We are concerned.
That's why energy drinks were created. I'm just keeping a thriving corner of the market to continue to thrive. I should buy stock.
You should, and that is kind of you to keep the business going.
Yeah, right. I am an important part of the economy, and as she's talking, she's starting to close her eyes, and you can see her kind of starting to nod off, and that's why she's struggling with words. She's like, I am why this is working. Hey, so what's up?
So, we were out for a walk, and a body fell from the sky.
And you're concerned about me?
Well, we were concerned about them. But they were still alive. You are still alive too, and that is good. But they fell and they were still alive.
Oh, so that's good.
We're not sure it was. We couldn't help them, but Stellan showed up,
Oh,
and they didn't really help them either. They made it worse.
what? I totally can't believe that from everything you've told me. Because
We know
this is
it's so
the first-
unlike them.
It's so unlike anything you would have ever told me. I can't pretend. No, I'm not surprised. So someone made it worse.
And there was a lot of weirdness, questions. We ended up visiting Isra.
Okay.
That time when I said we, I meant
You and Stellan. Y'all and Stellan.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that got weird too. Anyways, we're going to a club tonight.
Oh, that sounds fun. I hope y'all enjoy that.
We were coming here to invite. Would you like to go to Zero's?
You see her kind of starting to like talk to herself a little bit, like it would be very rude to deny that you're trying to, friends go and do things, but also there's gonna, like, what if there's other people there that are Can we get ice cream afterwards?
We think that is an excellent idea.
No, okay.
I will say, Alistair, in that quiet, when Bellamy is trying to convince herself, or bargain with herself, rather, of what will make this worthwhile, you hear Extar kind of pipe up again. See, I told you, she doesn't want to be friends with you. And again, Duasis kind of steps in. That's a bit of a low blow, Extar. It's a little... That was low-hanging fruit. You didn't need to do that. It's a very short exchange, but it does sit and linger for a moment.
I'm gonna fight the Legion.
The Legion welcomes it. You would know, Alistair, and we had talked about this previously, but the theme of Zero's changes nightly. It sometimes is a very modern club with all of the sort of the rave vibes. Sometimes it's a speakeasy. Sometimes it's kind of looks a little bit more like a red lobster. And you're not really sure why, but that's pretty consistent. Um, you gather from the invitation that tonight is a little bit of a classier evening. So you're expected to dress a little bit nicer than you would on the day to day. Zeros does not seem to turn anybody away because once you've been invited, you've been invited. But if you aren't dressed as nice, you know that Visley kind of judge on appearance from time to time.
Alistair would convey the vibes to Bellamy, though at the point that they start to choose their wardrobe, it is definitely not going to match that vibe of classiness whatsoever.
While you're looking, will you give us a description of what Alistair looks like?
Alistair has shaggy brown hair and golden eyes. They can most often be found in variously ripped up types of clothing. They do not particularly care to look well kempt or fancy in any way, shape, or form, and that is pretty evident when they slide their suitcase out from behind the couch and start rifling through it. And it's just black jeans with a variety of straps and chains on them, some simple t-shirts, some what they would consider nicer tops that are made of shiny types of fabric, all in black, of course. Again, with like slash sleeves and straps and chains. And that is essentially what they end up going for. Their one concession is that they put on a very nice leather jacket that has today the image of a flame on the back. And that is the only color in anything that they are wearing.
Is it a red flame or have you colored it something different?
It changes. Today, it matches the invitation. It is a shade of green.
Very nice. Alistair is in their borrowed room getting ready. Bellamy, you now know what the vibes are for the evening. Can you give us a description of Bellamy and let us know what it is that she'll be wearing this evening?
So Bellamy totally remembers what the vibes of the evening are. Knox doesn't. So what were the vibes of the evening?
Great Gatsby, but like chill. You're not partying, but kind of 20s Art Deco, Negronis and old fashions and Aperol spritzes are probably going to be on the menu tonight.
Oh, cool. So nothing like what Bellamy wears. Got it. So Bellamy's like staring at like her clothes. She's very much like just long flowy skirts and like earth tones and stuff like that. And she's like, of course, this is too fancy. And she has like a sad look in her face when she goes and opens up her closet and opens up like a suitcase in the back. And I'm gonna say these are not her clothes, but the clothes of her friend. And she goes through and she finds like a nice green beaded flapper dress that's a bit like to her knees. I don't know how long they were. I don't remember. But Bellamy goes up to like her knees and she looks very uncomfortable when she walks out. Like, this is not what she usually wears. And she has like a nice like beaded like shawl kind of covering her arms a bit because she's like, I'm gonna get cold. This is not practical.
Candace kind of goes up and fits itself to your hand and wraps the vines sort of comfortingly around the top of your hand, almost as though holding it.
Oh, thank you. Okay, this is good. This is what friends do, I think. And gotta get through it, and then there's ice cream, and this is good. Friends, good.
Candace,
Oh boy.
Candace kind of kicks itself up and kind of nudges the back of your leg.
Okay. Just like I'm ready if you are.
How miserable does Bellamy look when Alistair sees her?
I'm sad because I know the answer is gonna make things sad for Alistair. It's not she looks miserable. You've literally never seen Bellamy wear anything like this. And so she looks very too aware of the fact that she can feel air on her skin. Like she just looks very much like standing up way too straight. It's like this is a lot fancier than what I'm used to.
Would you like to wear something more comfortable?
I don't want to get kicked out.
We don't think that they'll. Do you think that they'll kick us out?
I don't
As they,
think they'll
like,
kick you out.
gesture
I think they'll
towards
kick me out.
themselves?
I think you're good. I think that I'm going to say something that's going to get me kicked out, and the outfit would not help.
We don't understand how that would happen. You're always very nice to us.
I am. I try to be very. Oh well, that's good. Okay, wait. Okay, well. And she just like stops and starts like, yay, nice, good. Nice is good. Okay. It's not logical, and I'm aware of that, but my brain is telling me that that's likely to happen. It happened. Something similar happened back in Shadow, so I'm just hyper aware of everything all the time.
That is relatable. Not the story, but the being aware of
Yeah.
things all the time.
So we're just going different, but also this is the pattern I have to go off of. So the most logical thing to do would be to build off of that pattern.
We
Because
don't
I
have
have
a
nothing else to
pattern,
compare it to.
but you have a pattern, so
Yes.
that's helpful.
Yeah, it's like a map. Like it's like a flowchart. Like it's like my board. Like if this doesn't work and this happened, then the best course of action is to do the exact opposite of what happened last time. And so
Well, if there is anything we can do to help, let us know.
okay. But I'm excited.
For the ice cream afterwards.
I'm excited for the ice cream afterwards. I mean, I'm excited to hang out with you. And the ice cream afterwards. Two things can be true at once.
We are excited as well.
Okay. For the ice cream afterwards.
And to hang out with you.
On the bisexual finger guns, which is exactly the vibes that we want. I want to switch gears a little bit, and I would like for us to head over to Stellan. Stellan, you left Isras with perhaps some knowledge to act on, not necessarily required, but you learned a couple of interesting things. Where do you go as you are leaving?
I think it would probably do me well to have a small reminder of that information
Sure.
as I'm pulling a blank.
Sure. So all of the events that happened, and I could be wrong about this, but we are going to retcon and say that right now I am correct. You noticed the hand that seem to be skittering about um, in Isra's home. You, before the body was discovered, you received a note from somebody who looked like the not dead body that said there is a body in Zardim, which is the district that the body was found in, that then burst into flames. And then when you went to go and inspect it, you ran into Alistair. So you were given a tip off by the person who you found for some reason that they would be found on the sidewalk.
Okay. Yes. I think right now, Stellan's primary assumption is that Zero's is where they're going to find that answer because they got the card from the body.
Mhm.
So I think at the moment they are probably standing outside of Isra's house watching.
Are you
They're
watching
looking-
Isra's house?
They're looking for the hand.
Okay.
The house demon. Whatever it was.
Roll me perception. And from the outside, Isra, can you explain a little bit about how your house functions from the outside?
Yeah. So one of the very core things that stays the same about Easter's house is that there is a fence and large amount of land because the land changes with the house. So today, with the chicken hut, chickens need water, so there's a nice little lake for it to get some water if it wants to, or maybe have some fish if it wants to have some fish. There's some koi, like some koi fish in the lake today, but it's large enough for it to walk around in like small circles if it needs to as well. But the land is large, the gate is there, and there's always the same standard looking mailbox because no matter what happens, that's the one thing that just does not change. It's just a standard looking mailbox of like any type of neighbor. So outside of that, those are the constants. But what it appears to be, that's the thing that changes.
So, Stellan, you're kind of standing in this field with a nice lake in the back. You recognize the mailbox. You see the Baba Yaga house continuing to sway, kind of step back and forth, marching in place a little bit. How close are you to the house when you are stopping and watching?
Far enough as to prevent the swaying from obstructing certain angles of the house, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
But as close as they can without that being a discernible issue.
Okay. This was a very, very small hand that you saw, and quite a large house. I'm going to set this at a difficulty, we'll say a difficulty 9 to try and spot this.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about how you can bring that difficulty down, or is there any magic that you were planning to use to help with this?
Let me have a look at my new aggregates. Could do a magic about it.
Okay. What kind of magic would you like to do?
So my aggregates are heart and thunder.
Okay.
Or hearts and storms. Nope, just thunder. And I'm thinking pulling secrets from heart and movement from thunder.
Okay. And your goal is to just see if you can spot this. Is that correct?
Yes, I'd like to spot it, and then I will move forward with identification if possible from there.
Okay. I would say that the level you need to cast this at, this is probably about a level 3 spell.
Okay.
So you'll have to spend 3 sorcery, which automatically brings the challenge from a 9 down to a 6. Because of Hazel is stinking adorable. Always the kid. I get distracted by the kitty cats. So that will bring the challenge down to from a 9 to a 6. Would you like to spend a bene to drop that one lower?
Remind me what resource Bene comes out of again?
For this, you'll be spending from sorcery. So it depends on what kind
Okay.
of challenge is being called. So if you're casting magic, it will always be sent from
No.
sorcery.
I'll take a 6, I think.
You also have hidden knowledge, which is a finite, never gets replenished during the game resource. But if you have some kind of hidden knowledge that you think, oh, this is why it would apply, you can justify it, and that would take it down one more if you would like.
I'll stick with a 6, I think.
Okay, go ahead and roll d10. Remember that landing on a 10 is actually a 0 in this game, so you need a
Yes.
7, 8, or 9.
That's a 9 flat out of the gate.
Oh, nice. Very good. Didn't even need to have cast a spell if you had just done a straight perception, but you probably wouldn't have gotten it on a straight perception. You don't see the hand. What you do see is a trail of magic that kind of flits sort of through the window and then curves back down. You see this as threads not dissimilar to what you see whenever you're weaving magic together. Which, before I go further into this, actually, can you give us a description of what this looks like when Stellan casts this spell?
So this, given the level and difficulty of this spell, constitutes use of Stellan's violin, which is a black and purple, very sharp instrument that they rest on their chin, and then their cane extends out just a little bit to reveal the bow for the violin. And when they start to play, they are this time, I think, playing Le Boeuf sur le Toit by D. Milhaud. And threads of magic just sort of burst into the air with each stroke of the song before calcifying and becoming this spell.
All of these threads kind of weave together, almost creating a bit of a frame in front of your face. And so whenever you're looking through the frame, that's when you can see. And as you shift, that frame moves with you. You can start to see that thread of magic. You see this both inside and outside of the house. And when you're able to catch glimpses of what's inside the house, you notice that where you're seeing this thread is also where you saw the hand crawling about. This seems to be the path that whatever that is taking. Magic has colors depending on where under the sun that magic is coming from. Each of the suns kind of represents a different element, sort of a different desire, different aspects of life. All of the suns together form the invisible sun. They're all under the invisible sun, which is kind of this ruling overall magic. You are in Indigo. You expect most natural magic here to be from Indigo, to kind of have that indigo hue. This magic is gray, which is interesting because the gray sun is where shadow is, where the non-magical world is. You, in your experience, you have never seen gray magic like this before. Doesn't make sense. But the thread that you are seeing, it seems to be gray.
Does it have a noticeable end within the house?
From where you are, it does not, but you do see that it seems to extend further into rooms that you can't see from this angle. So it's possible, but from what you're seeing from your angle of the house, it doesn't look like it does.
Okay, and it only has one thread going in?
Correct.
Stellan is going to put their violin back over their back, reset their cane, tap it twice in the ground, begin whistling Hall of the Mountain King, and is going to go home to change.
You walk home. It is almost always autumn in Fartown, and we'll say that right now it's no different. So there's a bit of a breeze as you are walking. It doesn't take you long to get home. As you're walking up, you see your neighbor, this older woman, who is kneeling in her garden, seems to be pruning, and she sits up and waves at you and gestures to the cane that she's got with her. just as a bit of a recall, you had decided to go and get a custom cane made for her. Um, we'll say that's not quite ready yet, but that is an order that you have already placed. But she gestures to the cane that she's got. Um, you always look so much fancier than I do, Stellan. And then she goes back down and starts pruning. And you can see that behind her, she's got two different baskets. One of them has apples, one of them has tomatoes in it. And as she's pruning, she's kind of sorting and she's pulling weeds. But as she puts them into the basket, they transform into tomatoes and apples. Um, but she's pulling those weeds out and she's putting them. And then as you're approaching, she kind of pulls a couple that turn into apples and she holds them in her hand. And when you approach, she holds them out to you. They're three beautiful, perfect red apples. But reaches out. You look a little pale. I feel like you need to eat. You should probably have a little bit of a snack.
Oh, so diligent. Adelaide. I appreciate the snack. I have not yet eaten today. It's been quite a busy day.
Oh,
As for how fancy you are, I think that is due to change any day now.
well, I would hope so. Stellan, is this you asking me on a date?
Of course not.
Oh,
I could never hope to live up to your standards.
you're absolutely right. I'm glad you can acknowledge that.
Of course.
You seem to be very in and out today. Do you need me to look after the house for you?
That's quite all right. I won't be gone for any extended period of time. I will just be accompanying some acquaintances to a club this evening.
Oh, are you going to Zero?
The gentleman doesn't get an invite and tell.
Fair enough. My lips are sealed. Well, go inside, eat your apples. You finally dressed as always, but I suspect that's not even nice enough for the evening that Zero has planned, so.
Zero and I have a standing relationship, and I would be remiss if I did not change it to something perfectly fitting their afternoon.
Leans over and kind of pats your arm. Quite short, so it's closer to like your forearm and your elbow, but pats it twice. I'm sure you and Zero have that standing relationship, as you said. Kneels back down. It's clear that Marie doesn't believe you. But kneels back down, starts pruning again.
I would appreciate if you could let me know if anybody tries to call while I'm away.
I will do my best.
And if it seems to be an interloper of some kind, feel free to use that cane of yours as a blunt force object.
Oh, you don't need to give me permission, but thank you nonetheless.
And Stellan will turn to go inside.
Give us a brief description. What does Stellan's home look like?
Stellan's home is very unassuming. The only things of note are the closet of lavish clothes and the trophy case containing a single key sitting on one shelf with an eye and a trophy from their time in Shadow. An award for excellency in violin.
Very nice.
They hook their cane on the trophy case to turn to their wardrobe.
And what is Stellan wearing tonight?
Stellan has been told that they're a very fox-like individual. Their hair is red and it terminates in a sort of black tip at the end, but it is almost always coiffed back. They have, if anyone were to ever see them smile, which Adelaide almost always does, they have two much sharper than human canines, and their cane has a fox as its handle. Stellan tonight is wearing to match their violin. They are wearing dark black coats with purple accents, very slimming and very angular, and a small dark purple overcape, just the shoulder. Where they, once they have changed, they will grab their cane and the colored accents on the cane will shift to match their color palette. Usually red and gold, this time black and purple. And they will finish getting ready.
Wonderful. It is very easy for you to find exactly what you're looking for. As you said, Stellan has a pretty extensive wardrobe, very well maintained clothes. You finish getting ready. Where are you headed? Are you meeting up with the rest of the group? Are you waiting at Zero for them to join you?
No, they need to intercept everybody. They grab the key out of the trophy case and hang it around their neck. But they are going to start by waiting outside of Bellamy's house.
Okay. You head over to Bellamy's home. The closer that you get, there is some clattering that you hear, you assume. Has Stellan ever been inside Bellamy's home?
No, certainly not.
I sure hope not. I can't know that answer for sure.
That's fair. That's a fair point. You hear clattering that you have heard pretty much any time that you approach Bellamy's home, which I imagine probably is not too often, but it's often enough that you know where she lives. But you approach, and Bellamy, you are inside with Alistair, probably discussing where to get ice cream afterward, which we'll definitely get to that. You see Hazel kind of stop, sit still, turn their head to the front door. Candace starts to walk itself over to the door and then stops, which Candace is pretty quick to greet people. Hazel starts crawling toward you to try to get your attention to let you know there is somebody outside. But it seems even Cadence, wow, I can't talk, is hesitant to let in. Stellan, behind you, you would catch a glimpse of another orange and white cat that kind of walks by. Seems to be a very cat-friendly place in the area. But Bellamy, you know that somebody is outside that Candace is not eager to let in.
Oh, I don't like that. Bellamy's gonna look at Alistair and just go, okay, this has been a day, and just walk towards the door and pick up Candace, kind of like holding it like this, and open the door, slowly open the door.
You open the door, and there stands Stellan. Stellan, is your back to the door? Are you just kind of like waiting, knowing that they'll open the door eventually?
Not standing in the doorway as if waiting to be let in, but sort of like off to the side
Okay.
so that the door can open and they can clearly see Stellan, but they have no intention of going in. They're waiting for them to come out.
So, yeah.
But they do see the door open and they smile at Bellamy. Hello,
Hello.
you must be the roommate.
The room. Alistair.
And Alistair will come over and nod at Stellan.
What? I'm Bellamy. What's your name?
Stellan Faust, at your service.
Oh, you're lovely to meet you. I've heard so much about you.
I'm sure.
Alistair leans in and whispers to Bellamy, we didn't tell them where you live.
Of course you didn't. So nice of you to show up at my house in the middle of the night after what's happened today.
Well, we're going to a club this evening, and I have a few errands to run along the way. I simply thought that it would be ungentlemanlike if I were to not accompany our good friend here. We will also be stopping at Isra's to pick her up.
Did Alistair tell Bellamy that Stellan and Isra could be there?
They mentioned the two of them, but did not specify that the group would be going.
Bellamy just looks at Alistair. Oh, I'm so glad it's gonna be the group.
Of course, you can't attend a club like Zero's on your own.
We
And I think it is
can't?
going to be a very entertaining evening.
All right. Well, did you want to grab anything, Alistair, before we go?
No, we are ready. And
Alright.
they're just gonna lean over again and whisper, "We didn't know it would be a group outing. We just thought we might see the two of them while we were out."
Okay. Okay. You're buying my ice cream.
Oh, ice cream? I'll pay for the lot. If that's okay.
Bellamy looks at Alistair and goes, "That's fine with me." Like,
Alistair looks panicked and just says, "If it's fine with her."
Why so nervous? It is just an offering of ice cream.
Something in the way you said that.
I can't hardly imagine a harmless offer like that was taken the wrong way. Surely you don't think you could be indebted to me off of one scoop?
Well, we weren't worried about that before, but we
But
are
now that
worried
you've
about
said
that
it-
now.
now that you've said it, it is a concern. You know what? I have money. Like, Candace grabs Bellamy's purse and like gives it to her. Like, we're good. And closes the door. So East Rose. We're going to East Rose.
When Stellan makes the comment about surely you wouldn't be indebted to me, Alistair, you feel X-Star's hackles raise. There is something uncomfortable there. How good is Alistair at not reacting when there is this new sudden unexpected emotion from one of the Legion?
It's a good question. I think in general, they're pretty good at that because it happens so often. But there is a lot going on right now. And that is a hard thing to be tracking.
Stellan and Bellamy, go ahead and roll me a perception or interaction. We're gonna say challenge level 4, and if you have any skills or if you want to spend a bene to knock that down, feel free.
I have seeing through deception as a
Yeah.
skill.
Absolutely, that knocks it down to a 3. A level 1 skill, I assume.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, knocks it down to a 3.
I totally remember how rolls work. I just roll 1d10 and I add what's on my character sheet.
Straight
No.
roll. Yeah. So what's on your character sheet, you can spend out of that pool to drop the challenge. You can spend
Okay.
1 out of the pool to drop the challenge by 1.
And what's the challenge again?
A 4. So you need a 5 or
I
5
got a
through
5.
9. Perfect.
Okay.
JT, what did Stellan roll?
An 8.
Beautiful.
Christ.
You both can tell that Alistair has some kind of a reaction when Stellan says, surely you wouldn't be indebted to me over 1 scoop. Alistair, there is kind of this you sort of imagine if a predator cat was hunting, sort of a big cat was hunting, and it catches sight of its prey, but then you realize that it's watching not because it's prey, but because it's on guard. It thinks, oh, this is something I can hunt, and then it pauses because it says, wait a second, I am not sure that this is something I could beat. That's kind of the feeling that you're getting from X-Star right now. Oh. I thought I heard somebody that was going to react. You were all good.
Alistair, you have my word that if I pay for your ice cream tonight, you will not owe me a dime. How's that for you?
I'll just buy their ice cream. It's fine.
Nonsense. I have the means, and ice
So
cream
do
is a
I.
treat everyone should enjoy.
And they won't owe me anything, let alone a dime.
It's a promise of free ice cream. Don't let my reputation precede me on the matter of food.
I don't like that you specified a dime. There are lots of things people could owe people that are outside of money.
It's a figure of speech for currency.
I've got them.
If you insist, but everyone gets a
Thank
freebie.
Thank you. So where's Eastras?
It is.
And Bellamy kind of steps in between Alistair and Stellan a little bit.
This is why I wanted to be the happy one, because of moments like this. She's just vibing with her house right now. Just scratching the hackles of her house. That's fine.
Luckily, I don't imagine that the tension is fully dispersed by the time they make it to Eastra's house. I imagine that Alistair is still a little uncomfortable and Bellamy is probably still feeling a little bit guarded. And Stellan, I imagine that you are walking and proceeding as though nothing has ever been wrong a day in your life.
Stellan's made a very valid offer. It has been declined.
Fair enough. It doesn't take you long to go to Eastras. Does anybody go up to knock on the door, or does anybody?
The Candace? Yeah.
Wonderful. I will say Candace doesn't even need to wait for the house to kneel down to be able to give access to the front door. Candace is able to kind of crawl its way up with the vines, raps 3 times hard on the front door.
I think Isra was already like close to the door because she was just finishing like getting stuff arranged and whatnot. As she opens it and sees Candace, like, well, what do I owe this honor? And she gives like a like curtsy.
Candace kind of tilts the top of it forward as though bowing, and you see the vine kind of do a flourish with its hand as it kind of
Ooh.
bows towards you, and then stands up straight, gestures to where Alistair, Bellamy, and Stellan are out on the front lawn.
Oh. Hello. Oh, one second. House, make sure you don't eat anyone on my way out. I'll be back about 3 hours. About 3 hours. So
We're
don't eat
stopping for
anyone.
ice cream after. I would account for that.
Oh, I can't do ice cream today. I have to I have things I need to do after 0. But thank you. That's so lovely. Can I see if like I can feel the tension?
Absolutely. Roll me perception or interaction, your choice. We'll set the challenge at a 4.
9.
Wonderful. You can absolutely tell there is tension, there is awkwardness. From Stellan, it feels very genuine that Stellan is completely unbothered by this, but from the other two, they're clearly not feeling great.
She leans over to Candace. I'm assuming Stellan said something out of turn and now it has people on edge. Is that correct?
Candace brings their hand up, does the ASL sign for yes.
Oh, okay. Making sure. But yes, I have some rituals I need to do after we're done with zeros, and she just hops off the the stairs
There's
and just floats.
There's a flurry of feathers that rush to catch you as though the house is like, no, I can help. And then you gently glide down and the feathers kind of go back to
thank
where
you.
they belong.
Thank you. I have some rituals to do after what happened today. I need to make sure everything is cleansed, so I have errands. But thank you for the offer. Ice cream is always lovely.
Really quick, Ava, did you see my message in
Oh.
video or in Discord?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Bellamy's just staring. Just like,
Hi. My name is Isra. Nice to meet you.
bright, like Just hi, hello. It's you're pretty.
Aw, thank you. You look like you need some sleep. Do you need help with that?
I just keep going until I can't anymore. Granted, the energy drinks probably don't help with that. There's nothing to be concerned about, right, Alistair?
That's what she says.
Well, if you ever need assistance, I'm a somamancer, so I can help with that if you ever need assistance with that. Sleep is good. Sleep is good.
I'll keep that in mind.
Hmm. Everyone looks dapper. I love it. I love it. Do we need to do anything before going to Zero's?
Yes. I have one place to stop before we end up there.
Ooh. Do we get to know, or is it a surprise?
It'll be a very fun surprise.
I need
We
to
don't
know
like
if that's
that.
genuine.
Looks
I
at
need to
Alistair in so much fear.
Can I perception check that? Or something?
Absolutely, you can perception check.
I'm a perception check.
Ooh.
I
I'll
would
be honest.
say
It's anybody's guess at this point. Genuinely.
It's just the way they say it. It's just like,
It's true.
It doesn't matter. I got a 2. I'm just assuming malicious intent.
I got
an
4.
8.
what did you get, Ava?
4.
Okay. Given Stellan's natural presence, I would say that you assume it is genuine. Alistair, with an 8, you are already on edge because of the Legion sort of not being comfortable around Stellan. You assume that this is genuine, but in the way that is unnerving coming from Stellan. Stellan's joy is not typically what brings other people joy. And so you are like, okay, this is definitely genuine, but there is still some discomfort that will probably be had, is your assumption.
They are going to stick close to Bellamy as the group is heading out.
Everyone starts to head out, and you're welcome to make small talk. But given the scene, I do want to draw a new card from the Soothe deck. So the card that I have drawn is Unknowable Truth. Value of 4, Secrets, Ravens, Books, Flame, Meanings, Truth, Searching, Futility. The Raven stands watch over the unknown. As we strive for understanding, the closer we get to the truth, the farther away it becomes. We know this to be true, but only after we've made the journey. The truth we learn is that we cannot actually know the truth. At the very heart of the Secrets family, the unknowable truth is the ultimate secret, the secret that cannot be, by its very nature, learned. But still we try anyway. It is futile, and yet it is productive. Even when you climb an infinite mountain, you're still moving forward. Indigo magic is enhanced, gray magic is diminished, and gallants receive +1 to all ventures. Stellan, where are we going?
It is, as Stellan said, on the way to Zero's. Much the way that almost anything would be on the way to Zero's. It is a very unassuming neighborhood. The houses are neither too nice or too drabby. It is a perfectly normal street with perfectly normal houses on it. And Stellan stops at one with a nice navy blue door. They turn to the rest of the compliment, give a small smile and a short nod. I will be just a moment. And is going to walk up the steps and give a few hard taps with the cane.
You tap twice, and before you can tap with the third, the door has swung open. It is surprisingly empty inside. There is not a lot that decorates this home. For all the normality of outside, Inside, it seems fairly sparse. A simple chair. For this to be the home of a Visley, the library is very small. It's not something that you typically expect from a magic caster. There's a dining table. It's bare. There is a reading chair. There's, that there's probably a bedroom somewhere. There's probably some sort of garden or backyard or decrepit tree in the back of the house. But this house doesn't seem well loved and invested in the way that other Visley tend to love and invest in their home. But the door is open. You are more than welcome to walk inside. That's a loaded statement. You, JT, are welcome to have Stellan move inside. I don't know that Stellan is more than welcome to go inside the home.
Stellan does go inside. Stellan will gesture for everybody else to follow as well if they would like to, but Stellan walks in without a beat.
Does anybody follow Stellan?
Looks at Alistair.
Are we just walking into other people's homes?
I do think that's a thing they tend to do.
Oh, if I knew I was going to go into someone's home, I would bring like a nice basket.
Or it's like
It's
fruit
only
or
polite.
something.
Exactly, it's just polite.
It's like,
Are they okay with us going into their home?
I don't think Stellan asked.
I guess we'll just wait until told otherwise.
Stellan will step back out of the doorway. What are you waiting for?
An invitation.
I invited you in. Come.
Is it your home?
It very may well be.
What is it?
I don't think that counts quite so much.
What does that mean?
You
you
all
own it?
hear shuffling. Maybe not all, but Stellan, you would hear shuffling behind as a man walks up, and he seems taller than he stands. He stands fairly hunched, a little bit like the wind is just constantly taken out of his sails. He's got brown hair. He wears just a simple black top, dark pants. Seems to be dressed as though he planned to just stay home all day, as the cozy clothes. That's what he went for today. The thing that stands out most is that he has what seems to be a healed over scar on his cheek that has flowers growing from it and blooming that kind of cover his left eye. But he shuffles forward, looks at Stellan, glances at the rest, looks back. You're causing a scene. Can we just get everybody inside?
I was trying to tell them.
Come in, all of you, and we'll go back inside, not waiting for anybody. But you do get the sense this is as much of an invitation as you're getting.
Oh well, let's go.
That counts.
As the last person comes in, the door closes behind you, and you are in, again, this very sparsely furnished house. The person has gone and sat at a desk that you could not see from the front door, but is kind of tucked away, is sitting there kind of organizing papers, putting everything into a nice neat pile, opens the drawer, tucks it into the drawer, closes it, seals it with a key, turns back around, looks at Stellan. I assume that there is something you need, given your unannounced visit?
Just your unabated company.
You always have my company, Stellan. That's the terms of our...
Right, but we're going out.
And are you expecting me to join?
Would I be here if I weren't?
I don't know. You sort of show up when you feel like it and leave whenever you want, Stellan. Clear communication, please. Are you expecting me to join?
Yes. Put on your finest clothes.
The person goes upstairs, comes back down wearing a very sharp, all black suit, black tie, black pressed shirt, dark shoes, still looks tired, but is standing, looks like they're kind of forcing themselves to hold their head a little bit higher. They come back down, look at Stellan. Will this do?
That will more than suffice.
And where are we headed?
Zeros.
And why am I going to Zeros?
I've been gone quite a long time. Don't you think we should catch up? And we did just get back, after all.
Of course. It's like you never left.
Everyone, this is Carter. Carter, this is a Dreamwalker. I'm not sure what they have going on. And someone who hasn't slept for more than 3 days.
You keep very interesting company. I assume that all of you have and kind of gestures and then points over to Stellan.
Oh, no, nothing of the sort. They were just around when we got the invitation, which means it was
Oh.
for them too. Except for that one. The one who hasn't slept is also a +1.
Well, now I feel quite bad. I feel like I should also have a +1 at this point. Everyone has a +1.
Could be
But I
your
can't
plus one
invite a
too.
house.
Carter,
Oh!
you're going to be her +1.
But is it you invited him?
It is an honor to go with someone
you
as lovely as
sure?
yourself. I guarantee this is a far better way to spend my evening.
Oh, well, happy to make your acquaintance. Isra, by the way.
Carter, lovely. Stellan, you notice this because you know Carter. Carter is looking nervously between you and the desk and back to you. Anybody who's looking could probably also see this. There's some clear anxiety and discomfort.
Carter, you know you can be forthright with me. What's on the desk?
Glances over. Nothing.
Stone is going to step over to the desk and is going to give it a look over.
Give me a perception roll. I'm going to call this a challenge level 8, which automatically drops 1 because of your ability to see through deceptions and disguises. Is that correct?
I was actually going to say searching for this one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Challenge rating 8 drops down to a 7. Anything else?
I will go ahead and spend 1 perception, Bene.
Okay. Drops it down to a 6.
Okay. This die has been saving well enough. That is just barely a 7.
There is nothing on the desk, but you can tell that the drawer of the desk where Carter had stowed some papers is magically sealed.
Open it.
It's rude to rifle through somebody else's things, Stellan, and I didn't take you as somebody who didn't have manners.
That would be true if they weren't my things.
Carter looks utterly defeated, but walks over, glides their hand.
Stellan, why are you bullying this man?
Can we
Stellan
get to
looks-
Zeros?
Stellan looks
You're an ass.
offended at the implication that they're bullying Carter. Bullying this man. This is my employee.
We do not think this is how you treat employees.
Maybe not you, but then again, you don't have a contract with one of them.
I was gonna say most employees, want to be well.
If I
Is
say
this
any
what you-
more,
Is this what you meant when you said that you may have this home soon?
No, I said that he might have a couch available for Alistair should he need it.
What is the role for doubt?
We don't think we want to sleep on a couch here.
um, if you would like to try and roll interaction to see if you can kind of see through interaction or perception, to see if you can kind of see through. I'm gonna set this at a challenge. Stellan, how open are you being about any of this? If somebody were to look and to dig and ask questions about Carter, how much do you tell them?
They are welcome to ask any questions they would please. Stellan does not hide the terms of their contracts.
Stellan does I would say that this was a challenge. I would say that there isn't a challenge if Stellan is willing to open it, but as soon as Isra, you start to sort of focus in, seeing sort of the tension, Carter steps in. It's fine. I'm being rude. I just haven't seen Stellan in a while, and you all know him. He has a bit of a jarring effect on people.
And you missed the
It
quiet.
does.
Something like that. It's fine.
Quite jarring.
And Carter will go over and kind of wipe his hand across the drawer of the desk, almost as though wiping away the layer of magic, and opens the drawer. Stellan, do you read through or flip through what it is, or do you just take it?
Stellan just takes it.
You fold it up. It's a stack of papers, 3 or 4 papers. You fold it up, put it in your pocket. Carter closes the drawer quietly, and goes and opens the front door, holds it open for the guests. I'm sorry that I've kept us waiting. We can head out now. As
That's very much
Isra,
all right.
I'm sorry, say again, Ava.
That's very much all right. Don't worry yourself.
Carter kind of smiles and nods, holds out his arm, if you will take it.
Yeah, she'll take it.
Guides everybody out of his house, shuts the door. The door closes very quickly, quicker than Carter is pulling it shut. I hear that Zero's is. I'm actually not sure where it is tonight, but I'm sure it's not far. I can find it easily enough. If you just give me a moment. And Carter kind of starts to reach for his pockets, reaches for one, pauses, reaches for another, pulls out what looks like a very small journal. Stellan, you would know this to be Carter's grimoire that he has his spells in. Opens it up, reads through, kind of running his hands across the words. You get the sense Carter is a very tactile Beasley, uses touch a lot to cast his spells, but recites the spell, and a small path, a small beam of light lights up in front of him, kind of heads out toward the street, turns left. I think that this is where we are headed. And if nobody else has anything at the moment, I think that that is a great time to send us to break. So audience, get a beverage, stretch your legs, pet your pets, take bio breaks as needed. We will be back in about 10-ish minutes. But thank you so much, and we will see y'all soon. Be sure to hang out. welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the second half. So, we have almost all of us have acquired Dr. Pepper at this point because we were inspired. So, we're not sponsored,
I
but
am
Dr.
behaving
Pepper,
myself.
Dr. Pepper and water should sponsor us because we've got things covered
I
on
am
this stream.
accepting
Okay.
sponsorships
Because-
from Dr. Pepper only for this channel.
Because of Ava, though, I did grab
Yay!
it.
Get
I
some water.
did grab it only for you.
Oh, thank
But
you.
also, I'm drinking these first. And Dr. Pepper should sponsor. I put in a lot of promo. I'm just saying. Look, I'm an influencer. I got 2 other people to join me.
Realistically, friends, please drink water. Please hydrate. That is very, very important. Water counts in pretty much any beverage, but not really soda. So please get some water at some point or another. Our lovely merry little band is headed to 0. Before I start to give a description of 0, chat. Oh, we just got redeemed for our hydrate. Grab your water, friends. JT. You don't have any water. That is bananas.
I don't know how to get it.
A sink tends to work, but you know. Chat, let me know if the music is too loud. I know this is kind of a different vibe from what we had going before. So let us know if we need to drop the sound any bit. Before we get started on the next scene, I do want to go ahead and draw our next Soothe deck card. And I have drawn Relentless Rumor. Value 3, secrets, ravens, books, flame, meanings, endless, half-truths, incessant drives, ruthlessness. There is never a real truth in whispered rumors. Searching for authenticity amid the clandestine, furtive words of a rumor is a fruitless task. And yet we still try. We listen. Despite the lack of complete veracity, though, this rumor is relentless. It cannot die, and a living rumor is one not just told and told again, but believed and believed again. Addiction and relentless drives are a part of this. Needs and compulsions are strong motivators, and they never stop pushing. Green magic is enhanced, pale magic is diminished, and gallants gain +1 to all ventures for this scene. You all are following this lit path that Carter has created to get to 0's. 0 is not just a bar. 0 is also a demon, a very, very powerful demon. It is the doorway for 0's tonight is in an alleyway, very narrow alleyway, brick on either side. And it's a simple door. It just is a green door, and there's a neon sign above that says 0. When you enter, the music, as the audience can hear, is a little jazz themed, kind of just setting up for a quiet night. For the most part, there's a little bit of a beat to it if things need to get moving a little bit quicker, but it is not sparsely populated, but not crowded. Doesn't seem to be sort of a mass of people in any one spot within 0's. You all arrive. You are greeted at the door by somebody who is probably about 9.5, 10 feet tall. And when they lean forward to inspect, they kind of also tilt a little bit to the side, a little bit farther than they should. Body is a little rubbery. They don't seem to have bones quite in all the same places that the rest of you do, or most of you do at the very least. But they lean forward and they kind of inspect all of you. Alistair, there's a bit of a pause. Bellamy, there's a little bit of a pause. Stellan and Isra, you are waved through very quickly. But you do have invitations, and you are all included as +1s, so everybody is let through. Entering inside, it is a long red carpet lined in gold. There are booths kind of set about. There is a bar on all 3 walls that you can see. The walls themselves are lined with mirrors that are kind of old and faded a little bit. There's kind of an Art Deco design to the chandeliers, to the enhancements around the edges of the mirrors. The booths themselves are very nice leather. And you can see that there is a bartender at each of the bars, and some booths are taken, some booths are still empty. how would you all like to proceed?
Stellan's first and probably only initial move is to find one of those rounded booths that they sort of sink into the wall, where it's like you kind of have to slide in to get to the other side of the table, and Stellan will slide in and sit.
Easy enough to find. It is. I'll say that you find one that's a little off center on one of the walls. So you can still see pretty much all of it, but you're a little bit at an angle. There's one booth to your immediate right that you cannot see at all because the walls that cover these booths are wrapped fully all the way around. They go up to the ceiling. But easy enough, you are able to find one. Everybody else, are you following Stellan? Are you finding a different place to be? Where are you guys headed?
It would be so petty if Bellamy went to the booth next to Stellan, but not that specific one. And I'm trying to decide if she's that petty.
Isra will go to the booth that Stellan is at.
Bellamy
They got
always-
the invitation together. Might as well sit together.
Fair enough. Alistair, are you also following Bellamy and Isra?
If everyone else is going, they will go with them. There was a moment, probably as Bellamy was deciding, where they would have gone with her to another booth if she had made that call.
Fair enough. Just for my own edification and curiosity, Stellan, I assume that you are staying in the middle of the booth so that you can have the best
Whichever
vantage point.
position is the most advantageous for Stellan's observations.
Okay, so facing the booth, you're probably a little angled to the left. That gives you the most range of the view. Who sits next to Stellan? Just because I'm curious.
Isra.
Isra does.
Yeah.
Isra slides in. I assume Bellamy sits next to Isra with Alistair on the other side. Carter stays stands at Stellan's side. Is very aware that this is not a simple invitation from Stellan.
Are you sure you don't want to sit?
No. I'm probably going to go get a drink at the bar. Does anybody else want anything?
You can surprise me.
Of course.
Does Dr. Pepper exist in this world?
I will say that PR Depper exists in this world rather than Dr. Pepper. PR Depper. No, there's not quite Dr. Pepper, but there is a very common bubbly drink that would serve a very similar function.
I'll take that.
Okay. Alistair, does Alistair want anything to drink?
They might, but they're not going to ask Carter to get it.
Fair
They
enough.
do not like the idea of Carter standing and acting as an extension of Stellan in this way.
Very valid. Carter will not step away without Stellan speaking, one way or another.
Stellan will pull out their purse, drop a couple crystals into Carter's hand. Get yourself something, sit down, and purchase something for Alistair as well.
Carter will go to the bar, come back with a tray of drinks. You all can see that the bar that Carter decides to go to, the bartender standing back is similarly dressed very sharply, rail thin, and their head is a lamppost, and there's a flame that flickers inside. They come up with a few drinks, they come back. Isra, your beverage is sort of the same shade as the colors that you're wearing, but the colors seem to dance between each other. Whatever is in it, there's like a little bit of a glitter and a glow to it. Bellamy, your drink looks like water, but when you drink it, it is the exact flavor that you are looking for. So it tastes exactly like Dr. Pepper. Alistair, Carter has brought you back water as well as a beverage that's a little bit of like an off blue color. didn't want to assume one way or another if you wanted something fancy or just water to drink, but has brought both. Did Stellan ask for anything when Carter went?
Stellan only drinks one thing. Stellan drinks water. Plain water, no ice.
Carter produces that, and there is sort of this layer of magic that Carter kind of peels back from the top, just to indicate this has not been tampered with. This is a completely safe beverage. Does that for all of yours, but make sure that Stellan sees that their drink in particular has not been tampered with. And then for themselves has a clear glass and then a small vial with a green liquid in it. They pour it into the glass. They start to mix it up, and it starts to fade into a very soft lilac color. And they will go around and they'll sit next to Alistair. And glancing at Stellan, but if Stellan doesn't say or request anything, they have been told to have a seat, with the implication of chill the fuck out, relax a little bit, stop being so awkward, and so that is what Carter is going to do to the best of his ability.
And then Stellan is going to pull out the papers and start reading them.
Oh, savage. You see what looks like the ramblings. As a V-Slay, you would recognize these are the ramblings of a spell. This seems to be the framework of some kind of a spell. Roll me intellect. We're gonna set this at a challenge rating 7.
Okay. I have a skill in magic identification, understanding, or quantifying.
Absolutely. Drops it to a 6.
Okay, and I will spend one little bean.
Drops it to a 5.
Is this a meets it beats it game?
This is a meets it beats it game.
Okay, because that's a 5.
I don't actually know. I think Cypher systems usually aren't, but I like the meets it beats it rule, so that's the rule we play with. Because I don't think that's very fair. This is a spell that is not very cohesive, but is some kind of a searching spell. This is something that somebody would cast if they are searching. You saw Carter cast earlier and created this pathway that led directly to where he needed to go. This is kind of Carter's specialty, as you know, is finding things, gathering information. This is a searching spell if somebody is searching past Fartown, past the city of Saturnine, past possibly Indigo Sun. This is somebody searching very far, but this is bare bones. It's not cohesive. You know that this doesn't work. You know that this was in no way a working order and seems to be kind of an ongoing project that Carter has been working on.
Stellan nods, folds it up, and tucks it back into their coat, and then smiles and looks at everyone else.
Is everybody just staring awkwardly at each other? I love it, if so.
Oh no! Actually, Easter is going to pipe up. Has anyone had interesting dreams lately? I feel like you can tell a lot about a person about the things they dream about, especially if they're constant.
Well, Bellamy doesn't sleep.
Well, she has to sleep eventually.
I sleep for a few hours when was the last time you said I fell asleep at home?
3 days ago.
Every 3 days or so.
Please come to the shop. Please. Please? Yes. Or at least see the sleep people. Please. I don't remember their name off the top of my head. Please just visit them.
I have a lot of things that keep me occupied that sometimes sleep doesn't seem like a necessity. Not in a bad way. I just mean from
That's my job.
No, this is
Your crush is just judging you more and more.
I have something that I'm trying to get taken care of as soon as possible. Once I get that taken care of, I will sleep forever. Not forever. I will sleep as long as you want me to sleep. I'll sleep. I just have to get this done first.
What are you? Well, what are you working on? If it's something that you are at liberty to talk about.
Just research into various states of being.
Fascinating. What
She
about
loves
everyone
reading.
else's? Reading is lovely.
I do. I love to read. I have a large library in my house.
What sort of
I suppose
states
that's
of
fine.
being? What sort of states of being?
Just various states of being that a person can be in.
What about everyone else's dreams? People have fascinating ones. Alistair?
Does Alistair dream?
I
Who
was
is the
gonna ask
dreamer
you
of the
that.
Legion?
I was gonna ask you that, storyteller. Does Alistair dream?
Alistair used to dream. The dreams
Sorry.
are so disjointed that you can tell that they're not always yours. You know that some of them are, and you know that parts of them are. You've spent time trying to dive into them, see if there's any sort of indication of what any of the Legion wants, why they're there, what they can remember, anything at all. The more time that you spend, the more that you start to spiral into your own thoughts. It's almost as though you are not meant to comprehend what it is that demons dream about. So yes and no, but in the most simplistic terms, yes, Alistair does dream.
Then Alistair would say, sometimes we dream. Usually they're not mine. We don't really know what's ours, or I don't really know what's mine anymore.
Well, if you would ever like assistance on finding what's yours, you know you can always ask. I'll be happy to help.
We appreciate that.
Ellen, you have not answered yet.
I already gave you your freebie, my dear. That information is for sale, we'll say.
What is the price for asking about your dreams?
About my dreams,
Of course.
I have to think on it.
I'll think on it. I'm quite curious. Not in a malicious way. It's nice to know what people dream about.
That's a shame,
Why is it a shame?
because all information is valuable.
It's valuable, but I don't really seek it out in a malicious way.
Does anybody?
I'm sure some people do.
That is just downright rude.
It really is. I'm happy you can agree on that. And what of Carter? I don't really quite know you personally, so I guess this is a means of getting to know you.
Real quick, JD and JT, I need you to check your DMs. Carter smiles, and it's a half smile that seems a little frustrated, I guess you could say. and just says, well, probably up until tonight, dreaming came pretty easy to me. And, things, people come back, things change. Um,
You can speak plainly here.
I am.
I will not hold it against you.
You don't need to. I don't dream much. Sometimes it's about things from Shadow, which feels almost wrong. I feel almost guilty about that, but no, I don't tend to have vivid dreams. Surely nothing that a dreamwalker would find interesting.
I find the way that I walk, I always find something interesting. I find it no different for you. If I ever get the pleasure to wander into your dreams or be invited.
More than welcome. If you find something of sustenance or substance there, bring it back. Let me know what it is.
Isn't this nice?
Stellan, you notice across the room, somebody with blue marbled skin, bluish hair, clawed hands, a little bit sharper features. You recognize this to be Dagon, who you have not seen since your return to actuality. Dagon being an agent of the Grey Reapers of the Hindasa. Isra, this place, so you know this from your own experience, all of you know this. Mirrors do not work in actuality because when you are not looking in the mirror, then what is looking back is kind of the general Vslay fear and concern. This place has mirrors that are kind of aged, and it's intentional aging. It's meant to kind of wash things out, which is a little bit alarming because even aged mirrors are not something a Vslay typically wants around. But this bar is a demon, and Zero is very powerful. And so you can guess, maybe he has something that can prevent anything coming through this mirror from the other side. You are looking kind of directly across just because you sat next to Stellan, and you see kind of a shift in the mirror, and you catch a very familiar goldenish glow, a feature. There seems to be a band of light around their neck. And this is very strange to you because you are indeed waking, but you recognize this figure in the mirror across from you. Stellan, I'll jump to you. Do you do anything with this information of seeing Dagon across the way?
I think Stellan just gets up, nods to the table. I'll be right back. Carter with me. And is going to approach.
Carter chugs his drink and then gets up and goes.
I could have sworn he said that Carter was my +1, but I guess that's not the case. Oh well.
Carter kind of overhears it. I'm sorry, it's... JT, clarify for me. Is Carter able to enunciate that he cannot speak about it?
The only thing Carter can't do is say my name.
Okay.
At least not to people who don't already know about the contract.
Okay. Carter overhears. Carter overhears Isra say this, turns around. I need to go with him. I'll be back. I'm so sorry. If you want anything, ask Lockett at the bar. Very cool guy. He'll get you whatever you want. Heads back over. Stellan has, I'm sorry, Carter has absolutely started a tab at the bar under Stellan's name because, and kind of just pointed back and said that person is going to be paying for it. Anything that this table wants. So, what's up, Nox?
Does Bellamy know? You said Dagon's part of the Hindasa?
Mhm.
So would Bellamy know?
Bellamy knows that the Grey Reapers are very numerous. So the way that the Hindasa works, Grey Reapers are the ones that are intentionally sent into Shadow. Your interaction has primarily been with Grey Reapers because they are the ones who go into Shadow and come back. Dagon is not a traditional Grey Reaper, but is an agent with the Grey Reapers, but does not do the traditional work. So you probably haven't come across him specifically. Yeah, I think that's probably, I think it's probably about where it is. Stellan, you get up. Carter goes with you. You approach Dagon, who smiles, nods as you sit down. Alistair, you would see across the way that it is Dagon who Stellan has approached. Sort of nods. You're welcome to sit down if you would like.
I was hoping to do more than that. Can I buy you a drink?
Oh, please. The Hindasa pays for everything that I need, so.
Yes, I didn't think that your kind got out of your facility much.
Not exactly. A typical Hindasa employee. You seem far more chatty here than you were the last time I saw you. You've
Of
even made
course.
some friends.
Friends is a term for it. I like to think of them as investments, let's say.
Sounds about right.
I'm more chatty here because I have more control in this situation. My
course.
memories being intact and all.
I'm glad that you're feeling more acclimated.
I'm sure you are.
Can I help you with anything, Mr. Faust?
Mix Faust. And I was actually hoping you could help me.
Oh,
You see, I, of course, know that some Hindasa are atypical. I especially notice when they're waiting outside my interrogation room, waiting for me to cough up a certain piece of information. So, since you've saved me the trouble of having my employee here hunt you down, I was hoping we could discuss the terms of a contract where I give you that information and you help me in return.
I don't think so. Mix Faust. My apologies.
You think you can get it on your own?
I think that there are others I should consider making a deal with before making a deal with you.
No one on the ground floor of Fartown, I can tell you that.
Well, I don't particularly deal with people on the ground floor of Fartown.
And so we have something in common. My mind is a tough one to crack. So, when you run out of options and you decide that you either don't need this piece of information anymore or you really need it, you, I'm sure, know where to find me.
You and your employee. Looks over, nods. Carter. And you see Carter nod back. Dagon.
First name basis already. Of course, if any other proclivities attract you down to our little hellhole, I'd be happy to show you around.
I will keep that in mind, but for now, I am simply off the clock, enjoying a drink.
by all means.
You see Dagon kind of lift his glass a little bit. One of the bartenders approaches, refills the glass, walks away. You get the sense Dagon is here often.
Outstanding news.
Isra, you recognize this reflection in the mirror, and a reflection outside of the mirror that you have is a strange thing. A mirror outside of the mirror you have is a strange thing. Again, these are very, very, very bad omens for Beasley. What do you do?
I think she's going to excuse herself from the table and walk over to the mirror and just lightly drag her fingers across it. I didn't expect to see you outside of the dream.
You absolutely draw eyes. People are watching. Just what is
Yeah, she doesn't
going
care.
on? Yeah, I didn't imagine Isra pays too much mind to what other people are observing or not observing. As
She
we
hears
do.
constantly she's very pretty, and she's very weird, so it doesn't matter.
The reflection turns and looks at you, blinks, kind of cocks its head. I didn't expect you to be able to see me at all, dear.
I have things to tell you, but I suppose I can tell you in the sleep.
That would probably be wise. It's not exactly a private place that we are right now. Who are these people you're with?
Well, one is a very suspicious fox. One does not sleep that often, although I wish that she does, and one is of many.
Your manners have made you very interesting friends. Have you been involved in the incident in Zardin, which is the district where the body was found?
The fox and the many told me about it, but I was not present to it.
I think we should try to walk in that person's dreams tonight.
Many?
No, that is a case for a different night when we have far more time.
Ooh! Of course, and I would also like to have their permission. But yes.
Of course.
Oh! The...
Yes.
That... Oh, okay.
Yes. The body.
Okay.
The man is not dead, which is good news, but
I've heard. Yes.
something has changed. And I think that searching in his dreams would be helpful. If you would accompany me. I don't wish to presume. I apologize.
Oh! I'm also very curious, and it will also give us time to talk about the events that happened after. I don't quite know if it involves it, but maybe you would have a bit more understanding.
It's of what?
I had a visitor. Well, I feel like it may be more intruder, which I don't like to say lightly, but they took one of my card's image. Luckily, it came back, but now it's nervous. My cards are nervous, and so is the house.
What kind of visitor was this, Isra?
And she does the gesture of the hand, but like a long drag.
You saw this in your home.
It was quite rude, but
Isra,
something
where is-
felt familiar.
when you say that, the expression, the vague sense of confusion that you were getting, the small bit of confusion, smooths over. Isra, where is your mirror?
Afterward, I think I ended up saying that after she looked at it, she put back in like the secure casing that she usually puts it in.
I think so.
In the secure casing that I tend to keep it.
Rest when
I
you
was
can.
planning on having someone come assist in cleansing the house, or at least putting a protection on it tonight afterward. Is or is this a more important thing?
No, I think that's a good idea. Take care of that. Rest when you can, and we'll speak tonight.
Of course.
Try not to look into any other mirrors.
Okay. It was good to see you.
You as well, my dear. And it's almost like a ripple effect, kind of dipping your hand in and ripple effects out as the image fades from the mirror.
She'll do like a nod to that, and she's gonna spin on her heel and get another drink to look somewhat normal.
You head to the bar. You meet Locket, who is the slant post humanoid. Leans over, kind of glances at what you're wearing. Well, you look lovely, darling. What can I get you to drink?
I never quite really know what to order. I don't really do events like this often, so I just like to be surprised.
I know just what to make for you. Um, Goes and pulls the drinks together, and when Locket goes to pour it, he holds the glass and does like a very nice flourish with it, and flame comes out of the glass and pulls into it. And from the inside, as it kind of snuffs itself out, liquid slowly fills the glass up. It is a like deep burgundy color, jewel tone, almost like what you're wearing, a deep red color, and slides it over to you. There's one ice cube in the middle of it. That should, I suspect that will be something that is quite to your liking.
Well, thank you so much.
And I assume on the person's tab that Carter came over and asked for the drinks. I assume that this is going on the same tab.
I would believe so, yes.
Wonderful. As Locket is going in and sort of making note of this, kind of makes a note, crumples up the paper disappears. Bellamy and Alistair, what are y'all up to as your companions have gotten up and stepped away from the table, different directions? One to go and wave at a mirror, which you two would know, again, not a good thing to have around. The other to go and approach somebody who you, Alistair, recognize as Dagon.
Alistair has been kind of all over the place since sitting down, particularly since Carter joined, and they felt sort of pinned in by Carter sitting to their side, at which point they ended up almost like crouching on the seat, and remained in that position up until the point that they saw Dagon, at which point they dropped down and tried to make themselves as small as possible, possibly going as far as like partially sliding under the table.
Absolutely phenomenal. Bellamy, you are watching your two companions go as Alistair starts to slither under the table to try and disappear.
Is this normal? Is this what people do?
We can. Would
Okay.
you like to join me?
Yeah. Belly's gonna get underneath the table, like grab her drink, just underneath the table.
Certainly, weirder things have been seen, but again, similar to Isra, kind of people glancing, looking over. It's a very clean floor. It is perfectly clean underneath the table as it was above it. I want to give you the chance. Are you two talking about anything? Or either of you doing anything?
Alistair would say, so this is a club.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me.
Are you having a good time?
Are you?
We're not sure. We're under the table.
We are under the table. I mean, if I didn't think you didn't want to get seen, I'd say we can dance.
We could dance.
We can. Do you want to? You can say no, and I won't be offended. We did just hide under a table.
I mean, I was gonna ask if you wanted to, but you asked us, so we're assuming that means that you want to.
Yes.
Let's dance.
Okay. Well, no, you have to climb out of the table first.
Slides back into the booth,
Also,
then
slides back
makes their
into-
way out.
This is have to look really weird to anybody who just saw these slide under the booth, talk, and then just slide out.
Honestly, I in my head, it is canon that all the V-Slay are neurodivergent and all need floor time
Yeah.
at one point or another.
Yeah.
So if the other V-Slay are like, oh, I got it. People who aren't are kind of like, oh, okay, live your truth, I guess. You two get up and go to dance. And it's interesting because you saw booths everywhere, but as you two stand and go to dance, it's almost like suddenly a space is made. There's a dance floor, and others are getting up to join as well. So you're not the only two out there. The music becomes something a little bit quicker, a little bit more like a swing style dance. Are either of you dancers?
Absolutely not. Not unless one of the demons inhabiting my body is very good at
Not
swing
unless-
dancing.
But I hope so. I hope there's a really fantastic dancer amongst y'all.
At least one of the Legion is just like, yes, we're gonna dance. I'm so excited to dance. Is absolutely thrilled.
I think Bellamy knows a little bit of how to dance. I think her person back in Shadow had taught her some.
Okay.
And I feel like Cadence is kind of helping her keep balance.
You every once in a while kind of like feel Candace. I'll get it
I'm
eventually.
so sorry.
No,
I
it's
changed
good.
the name's name.
No, it's perfect. Every once in a while, Candace will kind of like accidentally step on your foot as though you've misstepped or they've misstepped. Just for fun. Can both of y'all roll me movement? I want to see how well this goes.
How do I do that?
Just roll a d10. There isn't even really a challenge. This is just to see, but you can spend a movement bene if you would like. I'm so excited.
That is a 6.
Okay. A 6 and a 2. Alistair, you are taking the lead, but it is awkward. This is a bit of a faster pace than what you're used to. And
Alistair doesn't dance. Alistair moshes. Like, that is what they do.
Honestly, moshing would probably be better for Bellamy.
I love that. In my head, you kind of like get out there and start to mosh and then realize that there seems to be a choreographed swing dance going on. You're able to keep up a little bit, and you would be able to keep up better if Bellamy was not so offbeat. But Bellamy, you are just struggling. You are doing the best that you can. But every once in a while, you do land a really good swing. And Alistair, you kind of fling Bellamy upward, and Bellamy, as you're up for a moment, there is this strange quiet where the music starts to dim and time seems to slow, and all of the mirrors around the room shatter at one time. And there's that tinkling of glass sound. And Alistair, looking at Bellamy, you can see what looks like, as the glass is raining down, wings behind Bellamy. And that is where we will end the first session of Blooming in the Rot. We are here at Zeros. Um, I want to thank my cast so much for this. This has been an absolutely phenomenal first session. Let's have everybody go around again. We'll skip JT until the very end, just because you'll do the channel closeout, but we'll go in the same order that we started. So, Nox, if you would like to do your outro.
Yeah. Hi, y'all. I was about to say, did I do that? And then it turns out I think I did. I don't know. We'll find out 2 weeks from now. Hi, my name is Nox Quiros. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and today I was Bellamy, who better get ice cream afterwards. That's all I can say is that those maybe making friends and Stellan, and maybe getting ice cream after. JT, you're great. I gotta keep saying this. I feel bad. And
You're
can find
right.
me on
You should
social-
say it. You're right, and you should say it.
You can find me on social media at Nocturnal_7. I'm not in anything else right now. Oh, yes, I am, but that's monthly. I'm on Queensgate Chronicles on the first Monday of every month, but we'll be back before then. Yeah. Drink Dr. Pepper and water. Drink
And
Dr.
water.
Pepper.
There it is.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Drinks another water for Ava. Only Ava.
Perfect transition. We will pass it on over to Ava.
Hello, my darlings and dears. It's your Madam Ava here. You can find me anywhere at Madam Ava Couture. I'm still on the hellscape known as Twitter and TikTok until one of them gets like yeeted from either their owner or the government. Who knows? Other than that, you can find me usually on Girls on These Worlds on every other Wednesday for Roll for Luck, our homebrew D&D game. We're on a train, doing a train heist, and Ryu won't let us leave. Or right now we're on hiatus, but you can also find me on Exquisite Corpse Presents on Sundays for our Thirsty for Lesbian campaign called Lunaissance Dunray, where it is a Arthurian legend story where I play one of the daughters of King Arthur, who is very nervous all the time. We're on break, but we'll get back to it eventually. Probably in August, hopefully. But other than that, have a wonderful sleep, y'all. Have a wonderful sleep.
Drink water, get sleep. Two things that I know JD is excellent at doing. JD,
It's
you
very
can go
true.
next.
Listen, I have had 8 glasses of water today, and yesterday I had like 12. So, we're doing great. We're not going to talk about the sleep, but I swear it has been a normal amount, and it has been more than a few hours in the span of 3 days. Hi, I am JD. You can find me on pretty much all socials at JD, not Jason Dean. I do way too many things, and because of that, I'm only going to tell you the things I'm doing in like the next week and a half, because otherwise we would be here a really long time. Tomorrow night, you can find me with Live from the Apocalypse. That is where you find me the most often. I am one of the organizers, storytellers, and players over there, and we will be recording our Masks Actual Play podcast, Academy H. I am very excited. It is one of my favorite games, and another person at this table is currently a guest. So I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow and more than a little scared. On Monday, you can find me again with LFTA for Thy Kingdom Come, our dystopian theocracy game where I play a saint who is actually a revenant and has the highest kill count of anyone currently. It's fine, don't worry about it. I will be back here on Tuesday running They Call Us Villains, our Masks horror game, which is delightful, and we will have our first guest joining us. So it is going to be an explosive time, I am sure. And then you will not see me again until the following week, and that will be with Lost Caravan on Wednesday. I can't read, but whatever that Wednesday is in a week and a half for Nova,
It's
where
17th.
thank you, on the 17th, where I play Corbin Calloway, who is very normal and doing just fine and not having an emotional breakdown. That's all I'm going to name for now.
Sorry, I was trying to type a message. There was still a typo because I started to panic the closer you got to the end. Um, hello, everybody. My name is Kian. My pronouns are they, he. You can find me on the interwebs at uptight_chiffon, uptight-chiffon, depending on where you're hanging out. I have been the storyteller for tonight. This has been such an honor. I want to thank my cast again because I've had so much fun with this. As far as where to find me next, I will be on Academy H tomorrow over on over on Live from the Apocalypse. I'm so sorry. I was just reading Lost Caravan. Over on Live from the Apocalypse. It is just very, very rewarding. I can't put into words how honored I am to be able to guest on that show. So definitely come hang out tomorrow evening. On Monday, I'm actually off. On Tuesday, I will be with JD back here for They Call Us Villains, playing my little lad who has at least one boyfriend, maybe more to defend. I haven't decided yet, but at least one that I'm very endeared to. On Wednesday, over on High Shelf Collective, the premiere of Beacon Bites. This is between Arc 2 and Arc 3 of uh Beacons of Firelight. I'm so sorry. My brain is fried because we got to the end and I was so nervous for this, y'all. So I apologize. Thank you for your patience as I fumble through my outro. But Beacon Bites premiere is going to be on Wednesday. I'm super excited about that. It's a phenomenal cast. It's going to be so much fun. I will be on Lost Caravan for Nova as well, Nova season 2, where I am the main character who is stressing out JD's character. Let's be honest. Nikki is kind of doing a lot. We're not doing so great. And then we'll be back here in 2 weeks' time for the next episode of Blooming in the Rot. I have a couple other projects coming up that I can't yet talk about, including one that just got added to that I'm super excited about. So follow me on social media. That is where you will hear about it first. And I will pass the mic over to JT.
Hello, I'm JT. I'm at WeebJeet on Twitter. I'm also at Entropy Emporium on Twitter because this is my channel, so they say. Allegedly, I'm in charge, but it would not seem that way, the way that some people are as feral as they are in the Discord server. By the way, we have a Discord server. You can come join it. There are links everywhere. Um, as for me, you can find me next Wednesday on High Shelf Collective running Beacon Bites 2. It is my game. It takes place in a 40k inspired apocalypse planet where things are just a little bit weird now. And they will be doing Criminal Succession, if you're familiar with the hit TV show. That is that was the whole pitch, and I'm super ready for it. You can also find me on the other Wednesday in Nova as Caldwell, the robot with no friends, a scientist to the end. I can see some people objecting to that. It's very funny. You can find me on Live from the Apocalypse on Saturday the 20th, where we will be playing a season of Secrets and Shadows, our Regency flavored Monster Hearts game, as Queen Octavia Frostpin, and then on High Shelf Collective on the 29th for a summer one shot that I will allow details to be leaked later. Entropy Emporium, which is a separate thing I have to plug now, has a bunch of really cool shows right now. They Call Us Villains is next Tuesday. It is our Masks horror game run by JD, as he mentioned. We have every other Thursday, starting not next Thursday, but the Thursday after, we are continuing God Complex, a Girl by Moonlight Neon Genesis Evangelion flavored campaign run by Will, who is also a good friend of ours from LFTA. We have this, Blooming in the Rot, Visible Sun, run by the lovely, wonderful, magnificent Kian, whom I adore and will continue to shower with praise until the end of time. We have a D&D 5e homebrew game coming up run by me. It is the first game I am running on my own channel. I decided it was finally time that I be in charge of something. It is going to be another interesting one. The cast for that is very good and cool, and I like them a lot. And one of them even got character dice recently, which is sick as hell. And then we have an unannounced Means of Magic campaign, which will be, I think, announced soon, depending on the way that things go. Other than that, check out our socials, donate to the PCRF. None of us are free until we're all free. You know the thing. And catch us in the future for some secret surprise gaming announcements where I play with friends or I play video games by myself that are scary, or we go back to Phasmo Fridays. which could be really fun and cool and maybe in the pipeline. I think that is everything that Entropy is doing right now. I think that's everything
Wonderful.
I'm doing right now, so I think I'm good.
Thank you kindly, JT. Thank you everybody for hanging out. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, be kind to the planet. These are heavy times that we're living in, so definitely take time that you need. And as JT said, we will all echo nobody is free until we're all free. So do what you can. We are going to send a raid over to Fuzka, I believe is how it's pronounced. Playing, is it Difficult Terrain? Or is that the name?
Yes.
Okay, playing Difficult Terrain. This was a recommendation from Ava. So definitely hang out, say hi, let them know where you came from, and go and support. But I will set that rate up momentarily, and we will catch you all in 2 weeks. Thanks so much, y'all. Say goodnight, cast.
Good
Bye.
night,
Hi,
cats.
Cass. Bye.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.